Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and today I want to break down my biggest takeaways from week one of the New York Jets 2023 training camp. They had no pads throughout the first week of training camp. Today they had an off day because tomorrow the pads come on. And this is where training camp officially begins with the pads because it's hard to evaluate the trenches with no pads on, but you can definitely still evaluate the quarterback play, wide receivers, the secondary, and the overall feel of this team. And I was there on Saturday and Sunday, as you guys know. So I want to break down my biggest takeaways from week number one of Jets training camp. Some players to watch out as we head towards the Hall of Fame game and the preseason. Some players fighting for some roster spots and some overall starters that is really getting me excited as a Jets fan heading into this season for the New York Jets. So before we hop into the video, I do want to mention, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I got a lot of Jets content coming your way all throughout the rest of the offseason. As you guys know, hit that thumbs up button as well if you guys enjoy the content here, and feel free to comment your thoughts and your biggest takeaways from the first week of Jets training camp thus far. With that being said, let's dive right into it. So we first got to talk about the man, the legend, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, what is a training camp video without talking about Aaron Rodgers? Because if you guys forgot, he is the Jets quarterback. I don't know if that really sunk in yet for you guys, but when I saw him with my own eyes Saturday, it clicked. Okay, Rodgers is a Jets quarterback. Pretty crazy stuff still to this day for me, but Aaron Rodgers brings so much to this Jets team, and when you see him on the practice field with your own eyes, and all the Jets fans that were there over the weekend on Saturday or Sunday knows what I'm talking about, Aaron Rodgers just elevates the expectations. He brings a lot of accountability to the team. He provides a leadership role. He's instilling a new culture. I mean, these are all the things that we kind of expected from Aaron Rodgers, but when you see it, you feel it, right? And that's the difference. I mean, my biggest takeaway from seeing Aaron Rodgers out there is, number one, I've been to a lot of Jets training camps throughout the years, and I have never seen a quarterback do what he did at camp in my life. I mean, the red zone touchdowns that he had to Garrett Wilson, to Tyler Conklin, the one to Corey Davis, all of those throws were just like, whoa, this guy is special. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, four-time MVP. We all know the accolades that he brings, but he definitely is elevating this team to another level. And last year, this Jets team was looked at by many across the NFL world that they are a quarterback away. Well, guess what? We enter Aaron Rodgers into this team with all the additions that we got in this offseason, with all the players returning, like Quinnen Williams getting extended, another year of development of Sauce and Garrett. I mean, Aaron Rodgers elevates the expectations for this Jets franchise. And if you saw my video yesterday of my breakdown of camp, the one thing that I pointed out was Aaron Rodgers definitely is holding his players accountable. I did break down something I noticed at camp where Jeremy Ruckert seemed to run the wrong route, and he was really fired up Rodgers and really telling him, I don't know what he said, obviously, because I can't hear it word for word, but he was visibly upset with Ruckert. So Aaron Rodgers is a player that's going to let the young players on offense, let them know when they make a mistake so they can learn from it, so they can clean it up, because it's unacceptable to make mistakes under an Aaron Rodgers offense. Another thing I noticed about training camp, and this connects to Aaron Rodgers, is Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett's energy is infectious. I mean, it's not getting talked about enough that we have an actual experienced offensive mind behind the offensive coordinator spot. We're going from Mike LaFleur, who had no idea what he was doing, to a guy, Nathaniel Hackett, who was hired to be a head coach for a reason. I know that it did not work out with him for the Denver Broncos, but he's meant to be an offensive coordinator, and he brings a lot of juice. And it's so cool to see our offensive coordinator, after the Jets get a touchdown, he's up there. He's the first one congratulating whoever catches it. He is really fired up. He brings an energy, and he brings an excitement element to this offense, and it's really, really exciting things. Another takeaway is the competition between this offense and defense on that practice field is serious. I mean, there's a lot of fights getting broken out, a lot of people having to pull each other off, and you can tell that whenever the defense makes a play, the secondary is really excited. Sauce and DJ in the secondary, Adams, Whitehead, they're all pumped up and fired up for making a big-time play. And on the other hand, the offense, when they make a play, they're all fired up. The chemistry with this team feels different. It just feels like they're all connected. They're having another year together under Robert Saleh, and that defense and offense is going to be a really fun battle to watch all throughout the rest of camp. Another player I want to break down, which is Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is definitely progressing in the right direction. As our quarterback number 2, we have to talk about him because, you know, and I mentioned this already in my last 2 videos, but my biggest takeaway from Zach is definitely his comfortability and his understanding that the pressure's off right now. He does not have to worry about going out there and start. So he just feels like way more relaxed. And when you're playing relaxed, you play more fluid, you play with more instincts, and that's what a quarterback needs to do. Don't overthink things, and that's what Zach Wilson seemed to struggle with the most last year. He's overthinking things, not having his mind straight, and with Aaron Rodgers there helping the mentorship of Zach Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett and their brand new offensive coaching staff, you can see the subtle adjustments of Zach Wilson's game in training camp. Now, we're really going to be able to tell Zach Wilson's development in the preseason and when the pads go on tomorrow, but so far, Zach Wilson's definitely trending in the right direction, and this is a good sign because the Jets organization are all bought in for the development of Zach Wilson to be that long-term franchise quarterback, and so far, so good. Now, getting into the superstar of camp, Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is elite, folks. I mean, we have a lot of expectations of him heading into the season already, but after seeing what he's doing at training camp, it is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you talk about the touchdown grab in the back of the end zone with the toe tap drag. Ridiculous. One of the craziest catches I've seen in Jets training camp in my entire life. Or even just running a deep route and getting wide open and making our secondary look silly, which our secondary is pretty darn good, by the way. Garrett Wilson has every single quality you want in a number one receiver. Davante Adams, I'm sure you guys saw this. I posted it all over my social media accounts on Twitter and Instagram and here on YouTube on the community tab. Davante Adams even posted the clip of Garrett Wilson that's going viral across social media. Hey, he sees Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson going crazy this year. So that's pretty cool. Everybody keeps comparing Garrett Wilson to Davante Adams, and Davante Adams himself sees the comparison. That is pretty darn cool. So watch out, folks. Garrett Wilson is going to go nuclear this year. He looks legit. And talk about the wide receiver room around Garrett Wilson. I've noticed Allen Lazard is definitely ascending, and I'm really excited to see what he can do with his first season with the New York Jets. But a wide receiver that not a lot of people are talking about that I think is going to be pretty impactful this season for the New York Jets is Corey Davis. And Corey Davis obviously has not had a great Jets career in his first two seasons with the Gang Green Jets, but I do think that with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, if Corey Davis stays healthy, he's going to be a pretty darn good wide receiver, number 2, number 3 receiver. And I remember a lot of people questioning if we should get rid of him in the offseason. I said, absolutely not. Why would you want to get rid of a veteran like Corey Davis when we're all in for a win-now season? So watch out for Corey Davis. He's my sleeper to be that type of really big, impactful player next to Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard. And, of course, a Hardman as well. The speed element that he brings, you see it on the practice field. He's probably going to be the punt returner and the kick returner and be heavily involved in the offense. And we have not been able to see Randall Cobb just yet. He is on the PUP list. And then, finally, the other wide receiver that's fighting for that wide receiver 6 spot is definitely Jason Brownlee. He has been spectacular so far for an undrafted free agent wide receiver. Definitely look out for him to make that wide receiver 6 spot in that 53-man roster. If he continues this, the preseason is where we're really going to be able to evaluate Jason Brownlee. Now, flipping over to the offensive line competition, this is really interesting. So far, Billy Turner is the starting left tackle. Mekhi Becton is the left tackle number 2 with the second string. Dwayne Brown is on the PUP list, so he is not practicing, so we don't know where he's going to be at. And Max Mitchell and Carter Warren are flipping with right tackle and left tackle. So that's really, when it comes down to the offensive tackle competition, Turner is ahead of Mekhi Becton to start off camp. And I find that very interesting because Mekhi Becton is someone that I'm expecting to win that left tackle job spot. If not left tackle, he's going to win right tackle. There's no way Becton, if he's healthy, is not starting week number 1. And Mekhi Becton looks freaking really good, folks. Very slimmed down. He's putting in that extra work after practice. I noticed on Sunday, he looks pretty good. And then talking about the center position, Connor McGovern is with the starters, and Joe Tippmann is with the backup. So that's definitely another competition to look out for as training camp progresses. But remember, last year's Robert Saleh, he gave Sauce Gardner the backup role and told Sauce to go fight for that number 1 cornerback spot. So that's kind of what I feel with the Joe Tippmann situation. They're giving him the backup spot. They want Joe Tippmann to fight for that spot. They don't want to just hand it to him. And Joe Tippmann, in my opinion, is going to win that starting center spot. Now, flipping over Actually, before we get into the defense, I have one other player on offense I do want to bring up, and this is a player that no one really has been talking about. Fullback Nick Bowden. Now, he is with the first-team offense. He's lined up as a classic fullback, I've noticed, in the I formation. You got Rodgers under center, Bowden behind him, and then Michael Carter as the running back. And I think that he might be making the team and providing an impact. I mean, there's a lot of times where Rodgers hits him on the flat, hits him on a crossing route. So watch out for Nick Bowden. He was on this Jets team for quite a couple years now, injured last year, and it seems like Nathaniel Hackett's going to bring that element of a fullback, a classical fullback, to this offense. So definitely an interesting wrinkle to the Nathaniel Hackett offense to keep in mind. Now, flipping over to the defensive side of the ball, we got to start off with the secondary, man, because they are poised for a lockdown season. Now, the one thing I love about this secondary and this defense in general is that they have continuity, right? Especially the secondary. Another year with the same exact three starting corners of Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed on the outside with Michael Carter II on the inside, that's only going to benefit the secondary even more. You add in the depth that this Jets defense has as well at corner with Bryce Hall, Brennan Eccles behind him with the rookie Jarek Bernard-Converse, and getting Javelin Guidry back. I really like the depth here at cornerback, but I really think that this Jets secondary has a chance to do something special with the defensive line getting better and with the offense putting up more points, which forces opponents' offenses to be more aggressive down the field and giving our secondary more opportunities to make plays. I think it's just destined to be great. I mean, DJ Reed is one of the most underrated corners in the NFL. He's going to be great. And Sauce Gardner, he's got a lot to prove because to be all-pro in year number 1 in the NFL, be defensive rookie of the year, a Pro Bowler, the expectations are rising. So Sauce Gardner's got to live up to the hype, which I fully expect him to do, and he looks freaking good out there, man. Locking down Alan Lazard at times. His battles with Garrett Wilson is fun to watch, so the secondary is definitely trending in the right direction. Now, going to the linebackers, I've talked about this in my previous videos as well. Jamien Sherwood is that starting linebacker next to Quincy Williams and CJ Mosley, and he looks really freaking good. He forced a fumble on Carter yesterday. He's all over the ball. He honestly looks more faster and like better at camp than Quincy Williams and CJ Mosley, just in terms of him making more plays. So he looks determined. He looks ready to go. He looks fast. He looks clean. And I'm excited for him, man. And I know everyone's going to say, Richie, we don't care about Sherwood. Bring in Quan. Well, I'm talking about who's on the roster right now. I want Quan Alexander too, but Jamien Sherwood is poised for a breakout season in year 3 if he gets that starting job, which he will if we do not get Quan back. Now, this defensive line rotation is deep, and we all know that. But Quinnen Williams, without pads on, is literally eating up any run up the middle. You're not running with Quinnen Williams on the field. But Jermaine Johnson is the guy I want to highlight because rocking at number 11, he is poised for a breakout in year number 2. He was under the radar because Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, they stole the headlines for the rookie class last year, but Jermaine Johnson is ready to go. He looks bigger, faster. His mind looks sharper just in terms of what he's talking about in his press conference and everything. I think that Jermaine Johnson is going to get more playing time this year and just be that new layer to this Jets defense because not only is he good at getting to the quarterback, but he also helps in the run game, which really makes me believe that the Jets are going to use him on first down opportunities. Yesterday, the defensive line, he was with the starters, and I think that it's going to be him and Carl Lawson rotating on who's going to be with the ones. But again, the defensive line is 10-man deep, and it's going to be keep adding people throughout the entirety of the game. I did notice the 2 new additions to the defensive line, that being Al Woods and Quentin Jefferson from the Seattle Seahawks. They add a new layer to this Jets defensive line. Al Woods provides a big body up front to plug up the holes, and the Jets are excited to get him in attacking defense, and Jefferson brings that pass rush ability as well. And then Will McDonald, he is banged up with a leg contusion, so he hasn't been practicing. I have not been able to see him, unfortunately, yesterday or Saturday, but hopefully he'll be back on the field because I'm really excited to see what he can do. And then going back to the secondary real quick, there is a safety competition between Tony Adams and Adrian Amos. Now, we bring in Adrian because of Chuck Clark going down. I think the Jets are easing him into the secondary of learning the playbook. But right now, Tony Adams is playing with the ones, and he's been pretty impressive, but I would be shocked if Adrian is not given that number 1 safety job. But I do like what Tony Adams brings. He's fast. He brings that deep safety secondary feel where he can go sideline to sideline. But if I had to guess, Adrian Amos is probably going to win that job back, even though I am very, very high on Tony Adams. So that's really my thoughts of week 1 of training camp. Remember that there's no pads on yet. The pads go on tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section of your biggest takeaways. Really excellent week 1 for the Jets training camp. No injuries besides Will McDonald's leg contusion, which is a great sign. Hopefully that continues. We got 10 days or so until the Jets Hall of Fame game. Whew. It feels good, man. It's my favorite thing to do here on Jets Media, to make training camp videos. So I hope you guys are enjoying the content here on the channel these past couple of weeks. Continuing on the channel will be happening. I promise you that. Let's go, Jets. Comment down below a Statue of Liberty emoji if you stayed all the way into the end. Hit that thumbs up button if you did not already. See you guys next time. Let's go, Jets. Peace out.